Good morning everybody. I hope you had a great weekend. Definitely after our last Saturday night, the Zoom session, those of you who came with Dr. Gary Dayton, wasn't it an eye-opener for many of you to see the insight of another Wyckoff VSA guru all the way from US to join us last Saturday night? And those of you who have came, definitely you have learned a lot from the experience that he had, and also my Sifu Bill Wormine that some of you may have heard when you came in about 9 p.m. last night. So that is pretty much the beginning of your journey in the world of Wyckoff and VSA for those of you who want to find more about technical analysis. And don't forget, of course, in this channel, our SMARTRobie trading idea with SMARTRobie, we usually combine it with fundamental. That's where you get a better outlook, a better control. It's what's really happening in the market. And definitely this morning we have seen our KLCI market continue to fall because of the MCO 3.0. The restriction and the lockdown hasn't been lifted because we need to achieve the number of cases be going below 4,000. Now going forward, as I said before, the market does not like uncertainty, and that's with this number in here, generally the economy doesn't even know when is the likelihood of the KLCI as well as some of the major businesses will be open, and that's why we are seeing the market breaking below 1560. The next test is going to be much lower. We will have to look at the chart and continue to follow us every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday as we update you on the market as we go on. But we definitely point to you some area that you should avoid and some area you should start moving your money over. And that's all on this morning. Good morning breakfast show with SMARTRobie. Now that's right. Now this morning we are in the Monday. Definitely we are in the beginning session in here. And those of you, I know it's difficult, but you can still submit your best stock trade idea from the US side. Now do take note, as I said before, let me just go on to the headlines and show you the market actually turned red Pentagon for the KLCI, but on the US side, the Dow Jones just turned green Pentagon. So we all need to be very smart, isn't it? We want to go where there is a trend is. Of course, if the KLCI we can short, definitely you can take a position on the future market and short the market. Definitely you will make some money. Now today is Monday. Definitely we'll be looking at the beginning level. We will definitely construct a trading plan for the KLCI, much more of an exercise, because going forward I'm going to share with you the market isn't that rosy. Now let's take a look at what we have for you, the headline. Now in the line with Miss Yap Ling Quen, which is a very good analyst writer in here, she talked about the stronger US dollar, and even in earlier March when the KLCI was at the higher, everyone is talking about the likelihood of US dollar going to 4.0 or 3.99. Right now we are at where we are right now. This is a weekly chart. You can see here we're at 4.15. Now somewhere in January here, this is where we were around 3.99. They were saying that able to breach it, but all in all, I think from a weekly chart that you can see here, we got one. Okay, let me switch to a laser pointer here. Our first peak, second peak and third peak. So this is a weekly chart breakout on the what we call the third breakout. Usually the third breakout seems to be very strong, and with the MCO situation that we have in here, not able to exit from it, our MCO, then I do think the next test will be around 4.16, 4.17 on the US dollar, making perhaps investing and trading in the US market much better compared to the local market in here. So this is the situation that we have. Now let's take a look at our market this morning, the KLSE. Let me just share with you. Very important is the daily chart that we look at, and right now we can see here on Thursday, that's right, Thursday, the red Pentagon already turned. That means our market is likely to go lower. We did have one green Pentagon in here, but they could not say. Many times before I said the 1560 level, it is a very important level that it should able to hold on. Not able to hold on, that it's, and looking at it with the situation that we see on the fundamental side, doesn't sound very rosy. Technical wise, we have the breakdown of this. Of course, the next level, many of you is going to ask, how low can we go, and do we want to buy catching a falling knife. That's very important. I know some of you are very, very tempted to average down some of your investment that you share, but in my opinion, that is usually one of the biggest mistake many beginners make, averaging down their losses because they don't like the kind of painful feeling about of trading in here. But do take note, in investing, there's always going to be pain where you suffer some losses, unrealized losses, and there will be gain. Of course, everything has two sides of the story. We always want to focus on the positive side, which is the good feeling, which is making money. And on a market right now that you see with red Pentagon, how is it you're going to make money? So you need to suffer what we call the drawdown in effect. And I've explained this a lot in our masterclass and many of our Zoom workshop that we do on weekend. So make sure you check it out when you join us next time. So you'll be kind of understanding the market sentiment as we go on to here. So so right from this chart, you can see two things not turning very, very positive for Malaysia. The ringgit is getting weaker. The KLCI market is going. So where is the positive side? So wait for me, and I'm going to show you next. All right, definitely. Let's look at what we have. The major decliner this morning in here. Major gainer are Cheetah, which I find it very strange. This is one of those stocks. Hey, Magni does well, right? And 57089. Now, those of you who have followed me will know why Magni does well. Remember, last Friday I talked about Nike. Isn't it? Nike has a big boom movement in there, and that's what Magni is. And Magni is one of the garments producer for Nike and Under Armour in here. And I think let's take a look at Magni in here. So there is some positive from in here. It did move up, which is the only one, but no doubt it is also following the major trend of our KLCI, but it's not going down as lower in most cases in here because they will probably benefit from it. And I do know some of the tech stocks today will be affected by the overall sentiment in here, but take note of it. Usually the case is, does it mean you should buy Magni? But overall market continue to be very weak, and many smart money will sell at high. So best is to avoid this market in here, or wait for the what we call the climatic volume, that what Dr. Gary talked about on Wednesday night, and those of you familiar. And definitely today, one of them will be Server Dynamics. All right, I think continue to fall with the news. Both two news. One was a positive news about they continue to make good returns on it, and the other one is the news of the 5 independent director resigning in here. You can see we have a minus 18.3. Now many of you, I continue to use Server Dynamic as a case study. I know some of you wanted to go in and buy, but usually this kind of thing is that we have to be very careful, and if you do want to buy, make sure you have a small position. Don't intend to make a lot of money out from it, but use it as more like a case study to understand when you see climatic volume, but we have not seen it yet. Market likely move sideways. So we now it's 33 cents in here. How low it's going to go, we really don't know yet, and I don't want to speculate in here, but usually we try to look from the price and volume. That does give us a lot of indication going forward. All right, now let's look at the GHL news that we see above in here. GHL, and we all know that the other so-called cousin in the same sector with GHL is definitely revenue, and revenue has done pretty well despite that, but it has come up from the old high in here. But GHL system, which is a regional basis and focus in here, let's take a look at the chart. GHL system in here, and definitely this news will tend to be very positive as they ride on the ASEAN digital boom in here. So you can see GHL did have a 3-month high, but again, red Pentagon following a line in here. You may want to buy at a support or buy at some sort of a trading location in here, or wait for the green Pentagon, or use the trading plan in here. Everything we have in there. But the news follow on talks about the stand to benefit from the cross border when the border opens. About 383 600,000 what we call touch point around ASEAN to facilitate cross-border. Kenangan definitely like this stock going forward. It's a payment gateway going forward, and it does have a coverage price, giving it, if you can see on the just above me up here, to an outperform for a target price of 2 ringgit 30 cent, and right now you can see it is only 180. So this is definitely one of the fundamental picks from the analysts above in here. And let's take a look at the GHL, whether the stock price is up or down. and it's down minus 1.1% in here. Everything is just going down, aligned with the KLCI in here. So nothing that any analyst will talk about will definitely push in this. But having said that, do keep this in mind. These are some of the growth stock that we have in the background of a weakening or downtrend KLC market. The KLC market doesn't really look positive in here, so do take note. Now, on a little bit of good news will be the IPO mania. That's right. Now, IPO mania. This news talks about the new IPO that will be hitting in. Definitely, let me switch to a wider chart here. Right, will be the CTOS, which is credit scoring in here, which I've talked about time and time again. The trend of this market will be very similar to what we see in the Western market in US, where credit scoring is important. And for you to get some credit, eventually you need to have a credit card. And if you don't pay your credit card on time, or if you don't pay your mobile phone on time, or you don't pay your electric bill on time, it will go against your credit score. So of course, when your credit score is low, you're not able to apply for any new accounts or any new credit facilities, as well as housing loans. So keep that in mind, and that's pretty much a good education to do. So this credit scoring eventually will definitely divide the society into digital divide we talk about, and those who are not IT literate will definitely fall behind that, whereas those who are IT literate will continue to do good. All right, so this is something we take note. And the IPO snapshot in here talks about hubs, IGB, and this will certainly be coming in much into the market. Now, the report also talk about generally the return so far for the last few IPOs since 2021 has been pretty good, minimum return of 5% to 115%. So on the WYSD, that stands for what you should do. And if you get a chance to buy some of these IPO at pre-launching price, which means when you go listing on that day, you're able to exit. That is actually a very good way to make some money, especially in the market that we have right now in here. To me, getting into the IPO has to have some connections, or maybe going for those what we call balloting. It's like buying a lottery for that one. Okay, so that's what we see so far, and let's move on to our next news, which is Genting. Now let's take a look at Genting. Now Genting, you all may know, it is opening the new Genting resort in Las Vegas. Okay, in Las Vegas in here. Now generally Las Vegas are targeting to a lot of what we call the older baby boomer kind of crowd in here. But I do know someone did tell me about the new Genting are using a lot of the very high advanced app. Basically there is no chips at all. You're using a lot of apps. Everything is tracked down. It's more like a very digital casino in there. It's what we call a super confidence. But remember, the Americans are not that tech savvy, especially the older generation, which you usually target in Las Vegas. The younger one, definitely the mainland China, but the mainland China are not going over to the US, at least because you have this animosity between the US and the Chinese government in here. So generally even the Chinese population will tend to avoid many of the US in here. So how is this going to pan out? I definitely don't know, but definitely on chart wise, this is Genting. You can see it is hitting 3-month high in here, and today it is at 5 ringgit 20 cents. So if you're very positive, you want to wait for this for breakout above the 520 ringgit in here, and then enter at a good setup. Usually I would say at a pullback, or if you want to just go through our basic one, just use the trading plan in here. Okay, so taking a look at the stock price today, what is it doing, faring this morning in here? It's down just slightly, minus 0.6% here, aligned with the overall market sentiment. Now we turn our attention to US, which is a bit more positive, where the stock market is soaring. And this week, so we'll switch on to US S&P 500. You can see there, hit that one and hit Robie chart. And definitely you want to look at S&P did today. The news continue to be very positive. We had one of the big gainer was on last Friday is Booking.com. Many of you may be familiar. You use the booking.com to book for your holiday. As soon as the MCO, probably this is the one you have. Chipotle continue to do well. You know, those stocks are really expensive. You can see booking.com is 2,281. It I haven't done any split yet in here. I think last week we did talk about some you got Tesla, one of the big decliner in here. $7 Awango was a decliner, and the more active one was Apple. Okay, now Apple again continue to make its inroad ever since the green Pentagon. You can look at that one. Just click here. All right, Apple, hit that one, and you get the stock chart switching into a wider chart here, and you can see right now it's hitting some sort of likelihood a resistance. You can see that on the left hand side of the chart here, you have the resistance there around 132 level in here. Let's see how it does, and this is again going to depend on what is likely to happen to the 10-year interest rate yield, which I've been talking time and time again. So those of you who have the trading view, do look at the US 10-year Treasury yield. If it's pointing downwards, a lot of the tech stock is going up. Now, do take note, the US Dow Jones is hitting new high, and it does it already had a green Pentagon. All right, let me show you that, and just pull this up here. So this is the mini Dow Jones that I have. You can see last Friday it turned green Pentagon in here. It will be testing the old high at 34,700 in here. So one side, the KLSE market continued to be weak, but on the US side, a lot of very good. So if you do have time today, do check out the SMARTRobie and S&P 500, and there are lots of stocks. And of course, the market in the US market opened at 9:30. Just check it out in here. You have a trading view in here, and some of those like the premium alert, you can also use it too. All right, let's move on to the next interesting news that I have here is definitely no other than Tesla. Now, there was a news last Friday. One of the members did tell us that there was what we call a recall of the car, but this is more of a software recall, and who knows, it might turn positive, because in the past recalls are very expensive, because usually the recall you need to bring the car into the retailer workshop and have some sort of a change in the mechanical part. But in this case, it's just merely a software upgrade, pretty much like your mobile phones upgrade on your apps. You go to Google Play Store, or you go to your iOS and you click one button. I'm not sure how is it, because I've not seen in the Tesla, nor been in the Tesla, especially this is only for Chinese market in here. Maybe the impact will definitely be a very, very minor. But having said that, let's take a look at Tesla right now. So we hit Tesla, and we hit the stock comment and chart here, and definitely you can see Tesla. And last Saturday, Dr. Gary Dayton did comment that this has some strength into it, and that gap is going to be good. If that gap is whole, you will see a likelihood to retest back to 800 Tesla. Now, do take note, Tesla, to me, it's a trading stock because of the high valuation. And how do you know that? Just go on to the, let me just show you here, Tesla stock fundamentals. Right, and you can see the fundamentals in here, the PE. 674 times compared to the average of 61 times, and you notice the ROE is 7 times. It's really mind-boggling, why this stock can, at this kind of price inside here. So take note of this one here, and let's move on to our next story. Now, next story is about the Pentagon guided. As I said before, these are some of our past winners that we have back in March when the market is bullish. Now, really, to be frank with you, the market can only do well when there is a trend. No doubt, some people say Pentagon able to pick it up, but like it or not, just like any ocean, in the ocean, right, for the ships to sail, you need wave. Just like now, we need trend. If there's no trend, many of these stocks tend to move sideways or towards downwards in here. Now, let's take a look at what we have last week on the 21st of June, the episode 81, I think, right? Now we are episode 85. We selected two stocks, Takafu. Let's take a look at it. Switching to a wider chart here, right? And Takafu is an insurance company, right? Should not be affected, but in some ways you'll be affected with the continued shutdown of the country. And as the market is testing the low at 435, we have the red Pentagon right in here. Now last week 21st was somewhere around here. the market, the green Pentagon here, we were kind of confident, if the market were to open today, then this market likely to continue. But right now we see the KLCI market, heading down this thing. Let's take a look at KBJ. KBJ is healthcare, and healthcare is, quite a nice one. It's holding up this level in here. 21st of June was here, so it's unchanged. And KBJ may be anticipating some of the COVID cases are going to be high and will benefit this organization in here. So that's the two stocks that we have inside here, right? And let's take a look at what we have for this week. That's right, on our Pentagon. And you can switch back to KLCI here. Go to Robie chart, hit the Pentagon guider, and I found one stocks for you just today. Okay, and we're going to be doing a trading plan. Okay, AEONCr, and that is one of the credit company in here, which has a much better chart setup. Now, if you don't want this is fine. If you don't need to trade this, is fine, because the market overall is very bearish. So I'm just going to show you an exercise how to build a trading plan. Okay, and so let's make this a bit smaller. Let's move it a bit smaller in here, right, and show you how we're going to do a trading plan. So then you will know what is. Okay, switching to Aeon Credit. All right, first thing we switch to a weekly chart. Now weekly chart, it's pretty nice. You have a good support here. Okay, then we just type here weekly support at about $12 in here. Good. Okay, good background. Okay, it's a good background in here because you do see a spring. You can see on the weekly chart, but it hasn't turned green Pentagon in yet. It's been in an up nice trend. Okay, weekly nice uptrend, and that's what we want to see. Okay, he hasn't taken it out yet, so that's good. Give us a chance in here. Now let's switch to a daily chart here. Now daily chart, okay, we can say that daily chart turn green Pentagon, and when was that? That was on 24th of June. All right, that's okay. Indicator, and we have a pullback. Okay, then we can say market pullback after green Pentagon. Okay, indicator is green Pentagon on 24th. Okay, let's look at some of the important price level. The old high that we have, definitely the old high that we have was 9th of April, and that's almost 3 or 4 months ago. And the high is 1338. That will be the what we call the old resistance. Now on this premise, usually we want to enter. Make it simple. A basic entry will be on the opening price here. So we want it for it to go higher. Okay, maybe let's say take out this high here. Okay, which is 1214, above 1214, and right now it's 1206, so there's no entry. Now stop loss, you put it at the ATR stop loss just below, so 1170, just below it. There you go. Okay, target profit will go for the old high somewhere around here, 1295. Okay, holding period since now is with a red Pentagon, we just want to hold it for 2 weeks if we are in. Okay, and within the 2 weeks we want to see this market momentum move up. If it doesn't move up, you want to be out. Okay, because you are fighting the trend. The overall market is not in very positive. So that's it. Okay, so next week let me just save this, and next week we'll come back and review this very simple trading plan. All right, okay, let's move on to what we have for you next. Okay, now of course this thing has been I've been talking a lot about it for the year 2021, we're still up 17%, but we did cut loss some of the couple of trades inside there. I think we'll be much lower, but we are still in positive area. We will give you this an update maybe sometime this week in here. But compared to KLCI, I think it's even down more than that. We are still in the positive territory. I think that's very good. Of course, a better market will be the US market, like what we saw last year in January to December 2020, when the market was very positive. We have a 106% return, and that's all we need to rely on the overall market. So again, the charts that we want to look on for the Pentagon is definitely on line change, where you can see on the left hand side we generally see lower volume before we see the volume come in. And right now for the stocks that we look at, AEONCr has low volume, so the market's not going to move up yet. Okay, and this is a tutorial for those of you who want to learn more. Check out the tutorial in there and you can find more information on that one. All right, our August intake for our masterclass is ongoing, and those of you who are showing interest can definitely inquire more about it. The numbers on site. So right now we'll be looking at the some couple of stocks that you all have. As I said before, generally the market not so good. We can also look at the US market in here. And for those of you who find that our services are very favorable and does help you, please let us know and go over to the Google and Apple Play Store to give us a review. We really appreciate that for all the services and also the support that you've been giving us. So let's take a look at some of the stocks that that you might want me to look at. Okay, so we have none so far. Okay, and okay, definitely is Server Dynamic, just more of a case study, as I said before early on. We can look at that one, Server Dynamics, and this is real time right now. You can see Server Dynamics, we fell by 23%. We fell this morning almost 15% in here. And take note, the volume is not that high yet. Maybe if the volume is high, that usually arrests. If it's not, then probably be tomorrow for that one. Okay, we have DNext. Okay, yeah, it's breaking below the ATR stop loss. Need to exit. Okay, need to exit that one a day. Okay, if you follow the trading plan. Okay, any other stocks? Okay, DIY, CIMB. Okay, CIMB is still good. Look at that, right? It holds up minus 1.2% in here. Maybank is breaking down. Okay, Maybank is breaking down. I'm not sure about Public Bank. Let's take a look at Public Bank. Okay, yep, even Public Bank is only CIMB Bank. And one of the reasons why CIMB is doing well is because of the news that they had this morning in here about the digital banks. Okay, they're going for digital license, very likely. There's no news. And RHB Bank is also doing much better. RHB Bank, right? Because they're going for digital license. That's why they are holding up. Because there are some institutional smart money supporting these two stocks. RHB, CIMB Bank, Digital Bank, Maybank, and Public Bank, nothing been mentioned. So those two breakdown. All right, and let's look at DIY. Mr. DIY. So Mr. DIY also touching ATR. If it close below, have to cabut. Okay, I think it's better that way because this one is shut down. No doubt they are not affected that much, but if you look in the scheme of things, there wasn't any trade. When you broke through the ATR stop loss at this junction here, you should be out 5th of May, and at least you don't hold any stocks. I know you all must learn how to cut loss, like what Dr. Gary said last Friday in here. Okay, Eureka we have here. Eureka, pretty good. Earnings is coming up. This is one of the so-called penny stocks inside here. So looks good. All right, if the trend is good inside here, but the question is, can it continue? Okay, it's up 2% in here, defying the gravity of overall market, right? Usually when you see climatic volume here, if it does go a bit more, then profit taking is going to come very soon. Just take note of it. But continue to run your profit depending where you enter. If you have gone in somewhere during the green Pentagon at 32 cents, right now you already made about 100% in here. Follow the trend. follow your trading plans, okay, whatever the case. If you're going to trade a very shorter term, then learn some of the VSA setup of the trade setup that we have, and that was going to definitely help you a lot more in here. And usually these are the things that we discuss a lot in our masterclass 3-day that will coming in the intake August. Follow your trading plans, okay, whatever the case is. Okay, any more stocks? Okay, let's look at Padini, okay. Padini is holding up at this level in here. A lot of springs. I think that's a good base. It's not going higher again. Reacting a lot to the news of our KLCI. Bosted again, wow, this is what a double play. Now Bosted, to me, it's time to take profit. It's not time to go in. They are just talking a lot about the digitization, news about it in here. So this is just smart money playing around with it. It's very difficult to make money on this unless you trade intraday, okay? Frontcan again holding up at this level in here, still far away from the ATR stop loss. Some of the stocks similar to the big brother in here like Inari should able to hold up right at the support level. No doubt it doesn't have any green pentagon yet, meaning it's likely to move sideways. Okay, Heng Yuan should benefit from the US market of the oil, but unfortunately it broke down the ATR stop loss. You can see here, as soon as it broke through the ATR stop loss, you want to be out because this market's not going anywhere, more towards the sideways market in here. All right, we have okay, CMSB, Chaya Mata. This one very similar to Server Dynamic. Cut, must cut. Okay, don't know where is it going already. Okay, you got VIS. No, not this one. The VIS Dynamics, that's the one in... Okay, also must cut loss. You can see, broke through the ATRs. Here is the red pentagon. Cut through here, exit. Okay, Itronics. Okay, Itronics still holding up. Red pentagon, not good enough. The market tried to go back, but it shouldn't come back down here. So your ATR stop loss is just here. So if it does break that, you need to exit too. All things being equal. You know, remember the overall KLCI has already turned bearish. How far we go? If the lockdown is going to continue in September, this market we talk about, you know, July will be in red. We're going to have August will be red, September. So 3 months are going down. And your portfolio can go down a bit more, okay? If you're ready to, you know, withstand this and you don't mind, and that's the whole point. If you are, again, going back to your strategy, what kind of strategy? If you're longer term or your shorter terms, that is quite important. If you don't do that, I can tell you, even if you follow our portfolio, right? Many of you will tend to be struggle. That's why our portfolio trading strategy, that one that you see, will continue to be up 17%. Why? Because we know when to be in and when to be out. That's something you need to, you know, put into your strategy. Else, you know, it's pretty much going against the odd. I think that's important, and I really want to highlight it. You know, you want to trade smart. You don't want to trade dumb, like blur a bit. And even if you lose money, find out why you lose money too. I think that's the whole point. And what Dr. Gary said last Saturday, so at the earlier start of it, try to acquire skills. Don't turn yourself too much on the positive or negative of your portfolio. That is just the outcome telling you you're doing right or not doing right. Right? Means if you're doing right, what are the things you can do to improve it? And when you're wrong, you need to look at why. I think that's the whole point of what we do in our breakfast show. Continue to give you very good educational tips so you can definitely help yourself and help your financial goals to be achieved much earlier here. Okay, let's look at another one, AEONCr. Okay, AEONCr here. AEONCr has a green pentagon, right? But unfortunately, AEONCr followed by, right now it's very close to the ATR stop loss. Again, it's reacting on our market. It's not ready up to go higher. We did have this nice ATR Pentagon guider, but immediately the second day, there was a sell-off in here. Also take note, these things do happen in here, all right? So let's look at the, all right. So if any more stocks, if there's no more stock, thank you for coming today. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube. Okay, subscribe to our YouTube so you're able to follow many of our video. And also last Wednesday, that's right, last Wednesday, check out the stock dividend portfolio for 5,000 ringgit for KLSE and 1,000 US dollar on the stock dividend. That is definitely something that will help you. Those of you who want to start off on the US market, check out that video which is available on YouTube, how to build your stock dividend for 1,000 US dollar on last Wednesday, and just look for it on the YouTube and subscribe and you'll be informed of it. Of course, don't forget to submit your best stock. You may not find it in Malaysia, but US market, you're able to find it in there. I think that's what we're trying to be doing in here, able to shift your mindset, shift your investment somewhere else. When one market don't do well, this is where you want able to do it that way. And of course, continue to share our Telegram channel with those of your friends and your loved ones so you can learn a lot about our market and learn a lot about the US market so you are able to continue to improve going forward. I think that's very important. The messages we continue to have in here, cannot make money. You can also go to SGX, okay? So you can see there on the SGX market, it's also available too. All right. So thank you for coming and thank you for your precious time spent here. So I hope you learned something today and I'll see you on Wednesday. Bye-bye.